You groaned as consciousness slowly returned, the pain in your head pulsating in rhythm with your heartbeat. Your vision was blurred, but you could make out the dimly lit interior of what appeared to be a small dark room. Your hands were together and your ankles were similarly to chair. Panic surged through you as you realized you were no longer in the car. You tried to recall the events leading up to this moment. You remembered the black SUV following you, the desperate attempt to escape, and then the collision. It was all a blur. You couldn't remember anything after. As your vision cleared, you saw a figure standing in the shadows watching you. It was a woman, her face partially obscured. You couldn't see much, but the glint of determination and perhaps a hint of in the woman's eyes sent shivers down your spine. "Who are you? Why have you me?" you demanded, your voice trembling with fear and anger. The woman stepped into the dim light, revealing her identity. It was Sergey, someone you thought you had left behind. "You thought you could escape from me, didn't you? But you can't outrun it, my dear. You owe me, and I've come to collect." Sergey smirked, her voice dripping with condescension. "I don't owe you anything. Let me go." Confusion and fear gripped you. Sergey leaned in closer, her voice a whisper. "Oh, but you do. You stole something from me, something I cherish deeply. And now it's time for you to pay the price." Before you could respond, Sergey turned and walked away, leaving you alone in the darkness. You were feeling hopeless and scared. You wanted to hug your stomach, to protect your baby. You prayed for a miracle, for someone to save you. But no one came. Meanwhile, Jimin was furious when he found out that you had been. He had sent Jungkook to follow you discreetly, but he had lost track of you. He had called Jimin immediately, telling him what had happened. Jimin had mobilized his men, ordering them to find out who had taken you and where they were hiding. He had also contacted his allies in the underworld, asking them for any information or help they could offer. He didn't care about the consequences or the risks. He only cared about getting you back safely. He loved you more than anything in the world, and he couldn't bear the thought of losing you. He promised to himself that he would find you and rescue you, no matter what it took. He promises that he would make the pay for what they had done to you. He promised that he would never let anyone hurt you again. He would never let you go. I endured the uncertainty of my situation. Alone in the dark room, I clung to the hope that Jimin would find me. I whispered promises to my unborn baby, vowing to protect us both no matter what happened next. night, you heard a scuffle outside the door. It was followed by muffled voices and a loud crash. Panic welled up within you as you realized that something was happening. Had Sergey discovered your pregnancy? Was she planning something worse? But as the minutes passed, the commotion grew closer, and you dared to hope that maybe, just maybe, help had arrived. The door burst open, and a group of masked men stormed in, their faces concealed in the shadows. One of them knelt beside you. You recognized the glint of the familiar pair of eyes you had longed to see. It was Jungkook, and he had found you. You felt tears of relief and gratitude streaming down your cheeks as Jungkook helped you to your feet. Without a word, you made your way out of the room, navigating the dark, labyrinthine passage with caution. Jimin was waiting outside, concealed in the shadows, and the moment he saw you, he rushed forward, enfolding you in his arms. You clung to him, burying your face in his chest, feeling the warmth and safety of his embrace. "I've got you," he whispered fiercely, his voice trembling with emotion. "I'll never let you go again." And in that moment, as you both held each other tightly, you knew that you had overcome the darkest chapter of your lives, and that your love was stronger than any adversity that could ever come your way. Jimin was really there to save you, so he did everything he could. He came to the warehouse with a bunch of his most trusted and super guys, all set to fight really hard to get back the person he loved the most. The abandoned factory became really chaotic when Jimin's group and Sergey's group started fighting, making loud noises in the dark building as both sides fought really hard. It was a tough and never-ending battle because neither side wanted to give up. You were hiding in a corner, safe from all the chaos. Your heart was racing because you were scared, not just for yourself but also for the innocent life growing inside you. The noise of fighting and people in need was all around, and it was a harsh reminder of how your life had been taken over by darkness. In the middle of a wild fight, Jimin stayed determined. He kept on going even when were flying all around him. He fought until he got to the center of the battle, where he found Sergey, standing strong and full of anger. She was determined and wouldn't give up. Their eyes met, and for a moment, everything got really quiet in the middle of a big fight. Jimin put down his Sergey. Sergey kept looking straight at Jimin without turning away, but there was some inner conflict or confusion in her eyes. "Jimin," she replied, her voice laced with bitterness. "You've come to save her." "Yes, I have, but this doesn't have to end in. We can find another way, Sergey." Sergey's expression remained cold, but for a brief moment a flicker of doubt crossed her face. She had waited so long for this moment, for a chance to make Jimin feel the pain she had endured. But now, seeing the love and concern in his eyes for Ju, she couldn't help but question the path she had chosen. Jimin took a step closer, his voice pleading. Sulky, this won't bring you peace. It won't bring us closure. Let's find another way, a way to heal. Sergei held her even tighter, feeling torn between her strong desire for revenge and the chance of a new and different future. But before she could respond, a sudden rang out and the pain exploded in her chest. She stumbled backward, clutching at the wound, her eyes wide with shock. Jimin's expression twisted in horror as he watched Sergei crumple to the ground. He realized that it had come from Namjoon, who saved you immediately from her. The fighting all around them stopped, and the warehouse got really quiet. Sergei was on the ground, and it looked like she was slowly losing her life. Jimin hurried over to her and knelt down beside her. She struggled to breathe, and her words were barely heard, like a soft whisper. Jimin, I'm sorry, Sergei managed to say. I couldn't let go of the past. Tears welled up in Jimin's eyes as he held her in his arms, her life slipping away. Sergei, no, you didn't have to do this. Sergei's hand reached out to touch his face, her eyes filled with regret. Tell her I am sorry, she whispered, her strength fading. Then Sergei's hand went slack, and her eyes lost their focus. She had given up her as the highest cost for seeking revenge, and it ended in a very sad turn of events. The warehouse stayed strangely quiet while Jimin held Sergei. The fight had abruptly stopped, leaving behind a lot of damage and sadness. Jimin gazed at the woman who used to be a part of his life. During the intense fight, Jimin couldn't think much about Sergei. His main worry was getting you to safety. He left Sergei when he saw you were unconscious. His only aim was to rescue and protect you. You lay unconscious on the floor, your face pale and your breathing. Jimin rushed to your side, his heart pounding in his chest. He gathered you into his arms, cradling you gently, and called for a medic from his team to check on you. The medic checked you and said you were still alive, but you were very weak. The stress and fear you went through when you were had made you weary. You remained unresponsive, lost in the depths of your unconsciousness. Jimin held you close, his heart heavy with guilt for not having been there to protect you from the beginning.
Chilly outside, when there's no shelter to hide, when everything is a lie, you'll find that out in some time. But when the things on your mind are all considered a crime, communication aside, we'll all just fight till we die. Is this an argument, or just the start of it? Either way, I don't wanna be a part of it. Can I just get some space? I don't have the heart for this. I can't be picking up the pieces, fixing scars from there.